Hello, Robin the Inwit here to talk about Australian Survivor episodes 17 and 18. What do I think about them? Look, they were great episodes. Um, it's very frustrating. I am really I'm trying to work out the logic to a couple of pretty much to everything. Let's be honest here. Um, and I guess how it works for everyone's individual game. So what we have here is last week Shay's gone off. Shay gets voted off, and she goes off to Purgatory, our Exile Island, Redemption Island, whatever you want to call it. It's Purgatory this time, and we start off with back to our look. Geordie is really starting to become a hot fave of mine. I'm really liking to see what Geordie is doing at the moment. He seems to be the only one playing. I have liked some of his moves, although they have, where he sits now, the move to get Josh, as I have discussed earlier, I think the move to get Josh was probably the wrong move. He probably should have gone for Mark early on, because now this Josh, and I feel like he went to get Josh because Josh seemed to be calling the shots, and Geordie, I guess that's two alphas clashing, and the need to call the shots. I always have believed very strongly that sometimes, in the grand scheme of things, it's better to let the alphas have their way sometimes. And this was one of those cases. Josh is allowed to think he's calling shots. Josh is allowed to have all that. Geordie comes in, makes the move on Mark. Unless Mark was untouchable still, unless the reason he doesn't go for Mark is because Mark just seems to be completely untouchable, which blows my mind. He's a returning player. You would think returning players would have a threat that you want to get out. His partner Sam is still in. Anyway, that, like, by the by, he went for Josh, and I think that's been pretty damaging later on down the track because now Josh won't seem to trust him. Anyway, we move into the reward challenge. Geordie comes up. The Isuzu four-wheel drive comes out. The car, apparently his dream car, which I find that hard to buy, like hard to believe. If any, like a car that maybe was in his realm of getting and he really wanted, but if you could have a dream car, like, the sky's the limit. You're not dreaming up an Isuzu. Anyway, that's a side note. Geordie ends up winning, and this always seems to be the case. I feel like if it was me and I eventually get a chance to, I don't know, if I get a chance to play, which hopefully one day Channel 10 and the producers let me play, and it comes to a challenge where there's we saw it with Calm, there's the 60 grand up for grabs, there is the car up for grabs. I don't think I'm going to try to win that. I feel like I'd step back, and I feel we get a bit excited. Maybe I'd get excited. Like, it is cool to win a new car. It is cool to win 60 grand. You kind of want that stuff. But at the end of the day, 500 grand is much better than either of those. So I feel I would like to take a step back and not actually try as hard in those challenges, because we do see often. I think there's like maybe one or two times in the history of All Across Survivors that if someone wins the reward, they can go on and make it to the final. Do they win? I don't know. They might. My Survivor memory does not retain all this stuff, so I can't rattle it off like my co-host over at Reality Pop, Riley, can do. And I think he said there was someone that's happened to. But my gut is to not win. It puts an even bigger target. Oh, he's already won a car. He doesn't need to win the money. He's already won 60,000. He doesn't need any more money. I kind of wish Geordie pulled the pedal back a little bit on that one. He does get the opportunity to go away. He takes with him Jordan, Dave, Michelle. Was it Michelle? Or it was definitely KJ. Jordan. Oh, that's it. Jordan. There's four of them: Jordan, KJ, and Dave, and tries to pitch this fact that Sam has the idol, which for some reason they don't want to buy. And I don't know why. I don't know why they don't. Is it because he's just been that deceitful? Has Geordie been that deceitful that no one wants to pay him any attention at all? Like, even if there was an element, even if he was lying, but there's an element of truth, that's a risk that they're quite happily running through. They're quite happily going, I don't believe it. So what? But it could be true. And if it is true, the actual ramifications of that being true impact your game tenfold. You have a power couple who got voted out their first time playing for being a power couple. They have played before. They're now not just a power couple, they're a married couple with one hidden immunity idol, let alone now two. The potential of them having two idols, I mean, that is enough in itself to go, hang on a second, look, it might not be true, but what if it is true? Let's just nip it in the butt now. Because these idols can be used, I think they set up to 5. I mean, while everyone was out on redemption or on oh god, now I feel like Chrissy, on purgatory, while they're out there was only 6 left. If those 4 weren't coming back, that was it. There is 6 left. There is Sam, Mark, Josh, Jordan, Dave, Chrissy. That's it. There is no wiggle room. They've got to 6 left with 2 idols. They play one at 6, they play one at 5. They've made final. Both of them, depending on how well they play the idols, both of them can easily make final 4. Their chances of getting to the end are insanely high. They don't care who wins. Sure, they might, oh, my light ran out of battery. That's a shame, but it's not too bad in here. We're gonna push through. I grabbed the dodgy light. I should have got the full battery light. Should have checked before I started streaming. Oh well, that's okay. We're okay in here with this light for the time being. I'll try and. I mean, it's not getting much darker outside. That's as dark as it's getting today. Anyway, sure, maybe one of them wants the crown of Soul Survivor. Maybe Mark or Sam really want the crown of Soul Survivor. End of the day, they're both getting that $500,000. So you really want to make sure if they're taking the 500 themselves, like, you want to split them apart. You want to give them as less opportunity to get to the end as possible. If there is even a chance that they could have 2 idols, you got to be open to the possibility that is a thing. It heavily impacts your game. You need to play that sooner rather than later. And they have done nothing. I mean, last week we saw Dave go, oh, it's okay. Now's not the time. Next week's the time. The next move is the time. No, it isn't. You did nothing. You said you wanted to do stuff. You did nothing. Every single time you did nothing. Where do you sit? You're in a 6 alliance. You're a single. You're one of 2 singles in a 6 alliance. You'll be used to break up one of the doubles. That's what you'll be used for. You'll be used to break up one of the doubles, but then you still have a double to compete with. The double outdoes you as a single, straight up. So at 6, Chrissy and Dave are the bottom of a 6. That's it. You have Geordie coming across. I mean, they didn't do it last week, but this week, what you had, so Shay had left. You had so you got Geordie, you got Michelle, you got KJ, Chrissy, Dave. That's 5. 5 singles beat 4 pair. That was the time to move. That was the time to strike on any of the couples, let alone the 2 that are sitting there with an idol each. The time to strike was that tribal. Yeah, sure, Geordie didn't get it. Sure, Geordie didn't get his immunity. Fine, whatever. So you tried to get rid of him. Geordie won't win all of them. If he does, good on him. Like, really good on him. Geordie's actually played the best game out of everyone. I get it. He's because he's the one playing the game. That's why he's played the best game. And I said this before when Sam was making Shay to be the underdog. Now they got rid of Shay, but they've made Geordie the underdog. Geordie has been forced to play and play aggressive and play well. That they have no other option other than to think that they've got to vote him out. Regardless, they don't get to the end by voting Geordie or not voting Geordie. Mark and Sam are really going to get to the end, going to get further than them. They're at the bottom of a 6. Why not jump across and be at the bottom of a 5? Regardless, you've increased your position. Whether you're 5 or 6, you're now 6. Your 6 has gone to 5, 5 has gone to 4. You are one better. You are one better in a group of singles who are then going to work. Geordie might be the top, but you don't want to go against Geordie. So the 4 of you are going to band together to get Geordie. Next thing you're 3 and 4. The move was then. No other time. It was then. You didn't do it last week. You should have done it this week. You should have done it instead of voting Geordie out. Where else are you going to sit? That is for Dave and Chrissy. For a Josh and a Jordan, though. I mean, I get it. If they get rid of one of them, if they get rid of Mark and Sam, then they're the only couple left. They put more of a target on themselves. So I guess I slightly understand that, but they didn't have to move. This is the thing. They didn't have to move. If they wouldn't have gone home anyway, they would have been there. This is really on Dave and Chrissy's shoulders here. They're sitting 5 and 6. They could have gone to 4 and 5 straight up. So I don't know why they didn't move. I can slightly understand. I can slightly understand why Josh and Jordan don't move. Just because they don't want, you're going to have to move sooner or later. And they already have one idol. If Josh refuses, for whatever freaking reason, he refuses to believe that there is a potential that Sam has an idol. I mean, you don't have to believe. You just got to believe that that could be a possibility. This story could be true. Blanking it out and saying no, it definitely couldn't. That sounds illogical to be. Is horrible gameplay. That anything can happen in Survivor. You don't know. So why couldn't this be an option? I understand wanting to keep the other two together because you're together and then you become a target, and Josh is obviously more of a target than Jordan. I get that. But going down, if Mark has an idol, Mark wins the second immunity challenge on Monday nights. He wins Monday's immunity. So even if he doesn't have even if they had one idol, Mark's immune, he plays the idol for Sam, they both get through. Simple as that. And that's all that has to keep happening. Mark and Sam just have to win one immunity, and then they've still got that other one as a safety defense. And we know they're only going to use it as a defensive token. They're only going to use it for a defensive play to keep themselves in the game, which frustrates the hell out of me. I want to see some aggressive idol play, but we don't see shit. They'll keep it for safety. And why wouldn't they? People are too afraid to make a move. I mean, there are so many options here. There's been opportunities for days. So many tribals, there's been opportunities, and they haven't taken a single one. And you know why there's opportunities? Because Sam and Mark have not played one of the two idols. So there is definitely opportunities. They are so comfortable that you have an opportunity to really make a move here. This whole concept about flushing the idol, forget about flushing the idol, blindside the player with the idol and get the idol out of there and back in the game. You don't need to flush it. You don't need to pretend to. This whole second episode where, or was it the first episode? Yeah, the first episode where Geordie and they had the plan, they were going to do it. No, second episode, I think it was, where Dave's going around and trying to cause chaos. Juicy Dave's trying to get Sam to play the idol. No, that's the exact opposite of what you want to do. You want to make Sam feel so comfortable that she doesn't want to play the idol. And this is something Geordie could have done better. Geordie really could have gone. I know he's hurting. I know he's hurting because of the move. I know he doesn't like being on the bottom. You know what he could have done? If he went to Sam, right? It wasn't going to work because no one was voting. The idiots aren't going to make a move anyway. They're too afraid. But because Sam says, yeah, she might be paranoid, but Sam's correct. If no one talks to me about a plan, then I am the plan. Makes sense. It's Survivor 101. Geordie should have been trying to scramble with her, trying to plead, trying to beg. Meanwhile, working other angles, trying to get this to happen. So Sam is it didn't matter anyway. She didn't play an idol. But the whole concept of trying to flush the idol, the whole concept of trying to make her more paranoid so that she might play an idol is ridiculous. Make her safe. Make her safe so you can vote her out without her knowing. She can walk out there before she's freaked out and going, oh my God, I've got to get rid of it now, because now Mark's packing 2 idols. Sam has none because they're not in her bag. Before that happened, You wanted to go. You wanted to send her out of here with the idol in her bag. You want to do the same for Mark. Keep them comfortable. This whole idea of just trying to make them flush an idol, and this flushing the idol thing that's been in play for a long time, I get it. I get you want to flush the idol, but you know what's better than flushing the idol? Blindsiding the person with the idol. 100% all day, every day, because that person with the idol that you want to flush is probably a much bigger threat. So, of course, just get rid of them. Sometimes, we can't get this person yet. Why not? Why have you not got Mark? As much as I've been thinking he's going to win, I am Team Geordie, even though I don't think he can win, because Geordie's the only one doing anything that interests me, unfortunately. And he's been forced into that position, which is. But I do think Mark's done pretty well, and that's, kudos to Mark and to Sam to being able to keep this whole 6-strong, stupid Australian Survivor gameplay that we see time and time again. When is someone going to come in and shake things up? I mean, Dave has been saying these last 3 episodes, well, definitely 2 episodes, but last Monday night where he's like, next week, next Tribals time, going to shake it up, going to flip this game on its head. What are you doing to flip the game on its head? Nothing. You're going to sit there and be 6. You're going to sit there and be used by the 2 couples, one of the pair, to get rid of the other. You can't do anything. What are you going to do when you get to the final tribal? What can you say? You can say nothing. You have no resume. Now, Sam here. This is Sam has put herself, and this is what I wish Geordie could have said as well. Geordie tried his hardest before he got sent to purgatory to talk about the second idol situation, because Jesse can't say anything. But Mark and Sam are deep in this lie that they don't have a second idol. They are so deep in the lie that it probably affects Sam more than Mark, but it could affect Mark in the end. This is horrible jury management right here and then. Horrible jury management, because she is lying blatantly to everybody. As we've had said, it is starting to cross a lot of people's moral line, and we don't know. And this is a big grey area with Survivor, because some people will do more villainous things. Russell Hantz, for example. Hold on, what's this one? Dave had, this is Sue's big move. We're waiting for this plan. Dave said it was going to happen. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on Dave, because I've had it up to here. Dave said last week, he can't do it this week. We're doing it next week. And nothing has happened. He's done nothing. Why? I mean, I know he doesn't know Survivor, and I know I get Chrissy and Dave don't really know Survivor, so I can't blame them. But it's sure as hell frustrating as hell, because you do the maths, like literally do the maths, and it's done. We're going to wait forever. Dave could get to the end and still we'll be waiting. And like I said, what does it do for him? Sitting there being 5 and 6 and being told to split apart a couple. There's no power there. There's no resume. There's no nothing. Sam has her one move of stealing an idol that no one agrees with, and now she's lying about it. She's pissing off everyone else. That gives her nothing in the jury. She goes nowhere. Again, therefore, if Geordie is to get there, Geordie looks like an angel. Geordie, for the deceitful play that he played beforehand, is now going to look, if we're lucky enough to get Geordie to get to the end, he is going to become this god. Everyone's going to want, he can't not win, because he's won 4 in a row? Was it 4 challenges in a row he's won? He's been honest about this idol thing. He's been trying to get, and then when they find out, when the truth is revealed and Sam's game unravels, there is no coming back from that for Sam, unfortunately. What should Sam have done? Sometimes you don't need an idol. Sam probably should have just given the idol back to Geordie, built up trust with Geordie, and then voted him off. Then go find the idol again. Maybe. Because this has been pretty detrimental to her game. And it will, if she gets to the end, surely no one's voting for her. I can't see that anyone gets to vote for her. Anyway, the 6 stay the 6, which is boring as batshit and also horrible Survivor because it only really favors the people on top. No one wants to move. I don't know why. We vote out Geordie. Geordie goes. Then we get KJ in a double vote, which again, oh my god, you lose Geordie. You have a moment where chaos could actually happen, and you don't vote Sam or Mark, and you just vote KJ. You just vote someone who you can use. You vote out one of your own members that could really help you make a move on the power couple. You just let her go. And then, oh my God. And then the next day, we get rid of Michelle. Why? Why do we get rid of Michelle? Back to this big move that we're waiting to see. Back to the big plan. Back to the blind side. Back to flipping the game on its head. We vote out Michelle. Why we want to send in the person, like, what strategy went there? So Geordie and KJ got, so there's nowhere they can move. The only ones that have to move are Josh and Jordan. They have to make the move, but they don't want to make the move. Why don't they want to make the move? Is it because they're just afraid of being the only couple left? The only bloods left? Is that it? Because I don't understand why you would just vote out of Michelle. Why, when you have an opportunity to at least flush an idol, why don't you do that? No one is doing anything at the bottom, and it's ridiculous. CD Mac, it's absolutely, utterly ridiculous to be at the bottom and do nothing and just be happy with that. And you know what? And this is what I said earlier. It's okay. Look, if you're at the bottom of 6, where are you going to go? You're going to be picked off, or you're going to be used to split the others, and you might get to 4, or you might get the final 3, but you've got there with nothing. Swinging across to the bottom of a 5 has increased your position by at least 1. And then from there, you have the opportunity to make a move on someone like a Geordie, because the other 4 aren't going to beat. No one's going to beat Geordie. We got to get rid of Geordie. It's 4 versus 1. Easy done. You've now increased your position. Look, don't get me wrong. These 2 episodes they were enjoyable episodes of Survivor for me, but they are hella frustrating when you have these moments where there is opportunities, and opportunities don't come by often enough, and they're coming by fewer and fewer as we go along. There's going to be less chance for Dave's plan. There's going to be less chance for anything if you just keep waiting. And it is frustrating. Enjoyable, but frustrating, because now here I am. I'm cheering for a Shay and a Geordie to come in and do something with KJ. I mean, we're back to the same position we're in. Chrissy and Dave must come across. They must go from a 6 to a 5. And you know what? This is where things can get fun. This is where hopefully Geordie gets his act together here. All you need is to pitch the fact that you're going from a bottom of a 6 to a bottom of 5, and a bottom of a 5 with all singles, no couples, no pairs, done. You're in a much better position. They just need to start to freak out Sam. Let them. This is where you can flush an idol. You can flush an idol here by freaking out a Sam and a Mark, but having the actual target on a Josh or a Jordan. Freak them out, take out one of the couples, come back the following tribal council, and take out a Mark and a Sam. They should hopefully have only, if you're lucky, they flush both idols. Idiotic if they use both idols. But if you're lucky, you can get them to flush both idols in the one tribal. If not, they at least flush the one. They panic because they try and save one of themselves. The target was never on them to begin with. And then you come back the next week with only one idol, and now they have to play 50-50. Sam's probably going to really think it's going to be her. And then from there, you could potentially get Mark. But it's going to be a danger call. But hopefully that's what I would do. What do we say here? What was the point of episode 16, 17, 18? Because only Michelle was really voted out. Australian Survivor is really a different Survivor. This, I get, look, I'm not one of the people who hate that. I'm definitely not one of the people who are like, these twists and turns. I am for American Survivor though. So with Australian Survivor, I feel like we know what we're going to get. We know we're going, as soon as Jonathan says something, we know we're going to get a twist. And it frustrates me that I don't see people plan for the twist and vote accordingly to the twist. But maybe there's no room to. I think on over on Reality Pop, we're talking to Harry, and I had a go at him for this. But he, maybe there's not enough time, or the ability to plan for the twist ends up meaning you just have to play the same game. This was a big purgatory. It really was. 4 people, 3 people coming back in. But that's just production trying to make a little bit different from the last episode, from last season with Haley and Baden. It's the exact same thing, just throwing a few more people in. I'm not against it. I'm not anti, I'm definitely not for it, but it's something that you can kind of plan for. Yeah, look, apparently you need to be voted out to win the game like Haley. Look, I actually thought Haley, unfortunately, was playing a really good game, and her biggest move, her biggest bad mistake, or her biggest mistake was what got her voted out to begin with. I'm glad she came back in and won. At the same time, it's nothing like Edge of Extinction. Edge of Extinction, if you get voted out day 3, you can come back and win the game. That's shocking. That shouldn't happen. Yes, I get the frustration of a lot of people not liking the fact that you're voted out. I get the purity of Survivor. Once your torch is snuffed, your torch should be snuffed. I do get that. But it seems like with Australian Survivor, there is a format. They tweak with the format at the moment very, very minimally, or minor tweaks. Instead of 2 people competing to get back in, it's 3 people competing for the 1 person to go home. When you come to America, when you come to season 41, the production really, really focused on ruining everything with the twists, with the speaking of the idols, and sounds fun on paper, and it might have some sort of merit somewhere down the track, but it's really forcing players to play. It's putting players on a train track, and they can only play. The train can't move off the tracks, and this is what the production seems to be doing. So I'm not completely against what Australia does. They are aware of the twist on Edge of Extinction, I know, but it's just shit. It is just shit to be able to be voted out on day 1 and just spend all the time with everyone who's going to be on the jury and get these votes. It just, you haven't done anything. What, didn't Chris get voted out in like the first, second or third tribal or some shit? And he comes back in and wins the game? Can't handle it. And Natalie, should not be making it Final Edge. You know the twist is there. You do know the twist is there with Edge of Extinction, but you don't know with all the stuff in 42 and what we're going to see in 42 and what we saw in 41. You don't, and that just, I don't like being put on the rail tracks. Would I take the twist of Australian Survivor out? Yes, I would. I don't need them. Am I super angry about them? I was really concerned of when I was going to watch season 42, because I've been watching since the very start. I started when I was 12, from watching Richard Hatch. I don't remember them all, but I watched every single one from the moment it started. So for me to have been there for 20 years watching this show, it's 20 years of my life, like more than half my life has been devoted to Survivor, or had this Survivor love, to sit there and go, oh, I'm really concerned, and maybe I'm not going to watch season 42, or I'm waning, like I'm starting to get a bit upset about or worried about American Survivor. That makes me sad. That said, season 42 started off really well. Season 42 was really a nice starting point. And you know what? The one thing that Australian Survivor is really, really messing up, or just fucking up royally, is 100% not giving everyone their screen time. The twist, yeah, sure. But the fact is, season 42, episode 1, every single person got at least 2 confessionals. 2 was the bare minimum in an hour and a half episode. Every single person. Which means what the production is doing for Australian Survivor is giving us this narrative. They're showing us too much of this. They're dictating the story that we're meant to see. You have to guess if the person is voted out, if is out of the game or not. Well, to a degree, you do have to guess, but also if you're paying attention, certain things happen. Whenever JLP says there's going to be, like he said at the start, when another tribe is going to watch a tribal council, 100% something is up. There is a twist for sure. I look, it started off good. I don't know if you've watched the first episode. Please watch it if you haven't. It's actually not a bad start. And it's hopefully we continue on like that. And we do have the same 3 immunities that have to be activated by saying that silly catchphrase. And like I said, it's funny. I don't mind what they're trying to do with it, but what it does do is make hidden idol a public idol. It never should be a public idol. Once the idols are public, they've lost their power. Other people can manipulate them, which is great for the other people. But what we want to see is people use idols well. People. He didn't say anything when Shea got voted out. No, he didn't say anything there. That was the one time he didn't. And this is a tricky one. And I don't think he said anything when Haley and Baden were voted out either. It was only when they had the next tribal and they came and the people weren't there. That's fair. That is a fair one. But that first one, the first 2 tribes or the first 2 twists that have happened in the game, there's been something fishy at tribal council. This one wasn't. But then it all came to light. Look, yeah, I'm not against it. I would remove them, but I'm not against it. Whereas I'm actually against the force feeding us the narrative of the edit, and I'm against throwing way too many twists that force the players to play a certain way. In season 41, there was like 5 idols floating around, and none of them got used. Like none of the 3 idols got used at all. Like you had this big whole hoopla of saying this stupid phrase for the visitors, not the visitors, the audience to get a bit of a kick out. Sure, we got a kick, we had a laugh out of it, but none of the idols were used correctly at all. So what was the point? Here it seems like we only have 2 idols in play at once. That's good. At least we know we can't be everyone be sitting there with an idol. As funny as that, that was one of my big plans, and I think that happened in season 39 with I forget his name, the Rick. I think his name was Rick. Literally, in one of my attempts to get on this my favorite show, they asked me what I would do, and I said I wanted everyone to have a fake idol, while I had a real idol. I wanted to make a lot of fake ones. The very next season of American Survivor, like literally had said that to the production team, and then the next season of Survivor was the American one, and Rick Devens did the exact same thing I said in the production meeting. So I don't know if anyone talked, but whatever. I don't know why I'm on this random tangent. Point is, we're in a weird situation. Our 3 players come back into the game. It is a different show, yeah. But is it a better show or a worse show? And see, this is the thing. Like, so if we go back to, I'm going to call it season 1 of Australian Survivor. It isn't. I just don't count the first 2, even though back then I was like, I'm never counting this Survivor. It's south of Adelaide. I watched it. I wasn't happy with it. And I got bitter and twisted about it not being over on an island. Yet all out, our last 2 survivors have been in Australia, and I actually don't mind them. But I'm going to talk with this new rendition. Season 1 being Kirsty Bennett as the winner. Even technically season 3, but whatever. Phoebe voted Kirsty out very, very early on. She was saved by the twist, ends up winning the game. And Phoebe was a great player. I thought Phoebe was really, really good that season, but got blindsided by a twist. And that's where these twists suck. And yeah, rewarded. Kirsty Bennett was rewarded $500,000 for that twist. Haley also rewarded $500,000 for the twist. So that would mean out of the current new episodes of Survivor, or new seasons of Australian Survivor, 2 of our winners have been rewarded or handed that win from the twist. That shouldn't happen. That's where the twists are playing into, that said, Haley was always going to win that. George was absolutely ridiculous on that final tribal. He really let that go. And also Lee was also no good. Lee got pantsed in that final tribal with Kirsty. or Christy Bennett, same thing, potato. Sorry if I got your name wrong. If you ever see this, you probably never will, but that's okay. Bad players can go far, like Tara. Christy is the GOAT who won it. Yeah, I know, but Christy, she played against Lee. I mean, she destroyed him in that final tribal, but should not be rewarded for one good tribal. Definitely shouldn't be rewarded to win the game. And that is a problem. Bad players always go far though, because you want to take those goats. You want to take them to the slaughter. They're easy to take, and you're gonna get that. But it's the twists that allow. Yeah, look, it's just one of those things. We don't need them. You know what? You know what we could use without the twists? Why not make it just get a couple extra cast members? I mean, we've already got a ridiculously sized cast as it is. Just get 2 or 3 more, no twists. You voted out. You can the twist should only come in potentially if you have a medical evacuation or no, you just don't have a tribal that night. Simple. No twists. You don't need them. But yeah, it is frustrating. You could just, we've got such a large cast as it is. Why not have 2 more? Why not let me play? let me fill a spot. Come on, Channel 10, watch this. Please. I'll give everything. That's beside the point. Anyway, all right, what happens next? Do we get a move? Does Geordie go further? I hope Geordie wins. I really do. I'm Team Geordie at the moment. They've made him very, very likable. Does he rally the troops? Does he rally a Dave and a Chrissy? I would hope he does. Oh, sorry about that. I would hope he does. But I feel like Dave really wants to make a move, but he's going to agree that Geordie is the most dangerous player because he's the one that's going to win. I mean, there's still 10 people or 9. There's still 9 people in the tribe. There's still 9 people in the tribe. There's a long way to go for Geordie to win the game. He is most likely to win, but that doesn't mean he's the most dangerous player at the moment. The most dangerous is one of the couples, and one of the couples is packing 2 idols, and you at least believe they're packing 1 idol. That's the most dangerous, and it gets you in a better position to move. I just unfortunately don't see Dave doing that. I don't see Chrissy doing that unless she had proper evidence. Disappointing because the season started well. Yeah, it did start well. It started really well this season, and maybe that's because of Sandra and Nina. Bring Nina back. She was amazing. I hope she plays again. And Sandra, I mean, as for us Survivor fans, I'm assuming you're a long-time Survivor fan as well, CD. What a dream to have Sandra come in, and unfortunately Geordie got the best of her. I would have taken her to the end, to be honest. Who's going to give her a win for the 3rd time? But just what a great, we're probably never going to see the Queen on a Survivor TV again. That might be it for her. So, it started out really well, and then it's got into the boring thing that Australian Survivor does. We sit there and we get safe. We play the tribe strong mentality that's been sitting there since Lee pushed it a long time ago. I am excited for 42. I definitely am. I was very, very happy with how it started. And I'm interested. Like even I was excited about 41. 41 just kind of let me down in the end with the twist really hurt me and really ruined the gameplay. And don't get me started on that. What was it? The turn back time twist. If it's a turn back time twist, the other tribe should have at least, at the very minimum, got the reward that the other tribe won, or that the winning team won. They should have at least got the reward. There wasn't a turn back time. So I'm hoping these twists don't ruin the game because they filmed it back to back. They didn't have a time to hear the feedback from the fans. Not that they always let the feedback come through. Jeff does love to take control, and good on him. Look, I'm excited. I'm liking how the cast is going. at the moment with like, I even like last season 41's cast. This cast is interesting. And you know what? As much as I love my challenge beasts and, it's the casting in this American Survivor has really changed, you know? Oh, the Hourglass twist. That's the one. The worst ever twist. That ruined the game for me. Ruined 41, the Hourglass twist. Stupid thing. We're not seeing, 7 fit buff dudes and 7 beautiful beach babes. We're seeing a really diverse cast. And that's really cool. Something that's nice about 41 and 42. We still need to improve our diversity. That said, I'm a generic white dude that's trying to play the game. So me saying that limits the chance that I get to play because there's going to be less of my type of people on the show. But we do need to diversify our cast, unfortunately. We do need to see a bit more. But look, I will be back, I reckon. Well, not I reckon, I know. I'll be back for I'll be doing this again for episode 42 sometime this week. What that airs for us Thursday. Some plans have come up for Friday, so I won't be able to do this Friday night. Or maybe I might be able to do it. I might be able to do it around this time Friday night. We'll see. We'll see how things go. It all depends on my little boy and how he's going sleep-wise. Or maybe Saturday. But I might wrap that up there. CD Mac, thanks for joining me, mate. That's a man, woman, or other. Thanks for coming on board and chatting with me. That was fun. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. And I may see you here one other day. I'm going to end this broadcast and have that really weird, awkward moment where things are just going and I can't end it, but we'll see you